Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War Warhammer 2 Quick Match gameplay. This time around we are on the Altar of Ultimate Darkness playing as the Skaven against the forces of the Beastmen. And for this matchup I decided to do something a little bit of silly and go for a straight up rush build with the Skaven. And basically go rush to rush, figuring that my opponent was probably going to try to rush me with some sort of infantry and probably cavalry. Not quite what my opponent brought, but nonetheless it's in for some very quick action and some very sudden conflict. So, the Vanguard here in the front, we do have 3 units of Night Runners as well as a single unit of Gut Runners with Poison. These guys, the Shuriken variant, I have before said that I don't particularly like the Shuriken variant, but I did figure that against Beastmen, where I'm probably not going to get to stand and fight for extended periods of time, 360 no-scope ability is going to be very, very useful. For the main line, it is basically straight Plague Monks, 5 units of them, backed by 2 Clan Rat Spears with shields on either end. Lord Skrulk anchoring things in the center, of course with the Liber Bubonicus, Rod of Corruption, Stand Your Ground, and some other fanciness. Blessed with Filth, Wither, Pestilent Birth, and Pestilent Breath. Double Rat Ogres to give me some stopping power and some mass if I need to stop Minotaurs from plowing through, and then the Helped Abomination here in the center, of course as a bit of anti-large, as well as Terror, which is really nice against Beastmen. For my opponent, a front line of Ungor Herd with Black Orange Ravagers anchoring things in the middle. On either flank, we do have more Ungor Herd. So a whole bunch of dirt cheap trash, except for this single unit of Goreherd, which is a little surprising. That's the only more elite infantry there. Elite is a very loose term. Kazrak One Eye Vanguard on foot as well. You can see he is coming in with the Dark Mail, which is a little surprising, but actually pretty useful against Skaven. With Skaven, you're almost guaranteed to see a Caster Lord because Skrulk is so popular, and otherwise it's almost always one of the different Grey Seers, so it's actually not a terrible choice. I'm surprised that there's no Scourge, and then Apocalyptic Vision for that bonus. Finally, in the back, my opponent's main sort of killing power is 2 Razor Gore Chariots, double Minotaurs, unshielded variant, Minotaurs with great weapons, and then Gorbel. Now, as you've heard from me before, I'm not personally the biggest fan of unshielded Minotaurs, but hey, they're definitely not bad against Skaven if you're able to protect them. So immediately you can see we are in full retreat. I actually assumed these were Gore herds and not Ungors, but immediately we're going to be in full retreat. And in the meantime, though, my opponent trying to pursue is going to meet with these Plague Monks head-on, and that is going to be some brutal, brutal combat. Plague Monks, of course, are very advantaged in this fight. Ungors are terrible against any sort of higher-end infantry, and honestly, Plague Monks are just built to slaughter cheap chaff like this. So at least for Black Orange Ravagers not having the best time even, and much less all of these other troops. You can see these Ungors just collapsing very, very quickly. And in comes the Helped Abomination, the Rat Ogres kind of diving in to lend their support, and you can see already this flank is completely buckled before those Minotaurs got into range. And this is honestly, if you're going for a Vanguard build, like, you want to make sure that your monstrous infantry reaches the line before the infantry gets wrecked, but this is too little too late. The Minotaurs are coming in way, way, way too late, and they're going to take a beating here. The Plague Monks not built against them, but nonetheless, low melee defense and low armor, they're going to get torn up, and there's Rat Ogres in there as well, providing their support. And now we've got a hail of Shuriken coming in and just whittling them down, while the Helped Abomination sits here looking like a gorgeous beast. Just watching as Skrulk is running for dear life. The poor Rat Lord has hit this whole area with Blessed Filth, which of course is going to reduce the performance of all the units. And you can see we've also hit them all with Wither, which reduces their armor and makes my Shuriken much, much more useful, even against Kazrak and the Gorbel, especially the Gorbel, who I was pretty concerned about here. I definitely wanted them to be whittled down. You can see the Helped Abomination diving in, slugging out with the Minotaurs with great weapons, definitely going tit for tat here. It's a pretty brutal unit, but definitely taking a beating in return. It doesn't have the best melee defense, not the most survivable unit, and it's definitely not having a great time. My opponent has a lot of stopping power between all these Minos. You can see the balance of power actually staying roughly centered, which is a little surprising, despite the fact that my opponent's already essentially lost most of his front line. Most of his infantry are gone. It's basically just monsters. But you can see the Helped definitely being whittled down. These Rat Ogres actually in full retreat, despite still being on 8 models. Over here, these Rat Ogres doing a little better, sort of dispatching these Minotaurs pretty efficiently with the help of their Plague Monk buddies, and sort of helping dissuade the Razor Gores a little bit. The Razor Gores otherwise just run rampant. They're very powerful. Chariots in general are just very potent against Skaven. And it's why I think you don't see that many Skaven infantry builds, just because the Skaven don't have the greatest tools to stop them while having the money for a solid infantry line. Fortunately, the Helped Abomination, after having killed 2 Minotaurs, is forced to back off and reconsider its life decisions. You can see it running away here at 2,000 HP. One of the important things to keep in mind is that while technically you do have the Too Horrible to Die trait that can proc, in my opinion, it's best not to tempt this fate too much, because there is a chance that you will simply lose your entire Helped Abomination instantaneously. Now, one of the interesting things you might be noticing is that I'm not trying to snipe Kazrak with Liber Bubonicus, and that's because I actually thought he was Morgar, because I didn't zoom in. I didn't really scroll over his flag, and he started off further to the back than the rest of the infantry, so I kind of assumed my opponent didn't Vanguard his Lord, so it must be Morgar in it. Obviously, it's not. It's Kazrak. Regardless, these Minotaurs here are going to get dragged into the pits by the Rat Ogres, by the Plague Monks. You can see just going down very, very badly here. Rod of Corruption from Skrull, of course, is going to melt this pocket. All these supporting troops in Skrull Herd, these Ungors, don't stand a chance. And the Rat Ogres, you know, they're still around kicking. They're still doing a lot of hurt. In the meantime, the Gorbel here, Papa Gorbel diving in, trying to deal with a bit of Abomination, but it just punts him away. And it's important to keep in mind, this is still 2,000 HP here. And unless too horrible to die, it doesn't screw us over, we should definitely be able to slide out with Papa Gorbel here. He's not having a good time because he drops to 700 HP. Foe Seeker going down to try to get him in there, but 300. Trading tit for tat with the help of Abomination, but he is going to rout seconds before he actually gets taken down with a punch to the face from one of that Creeper's punches there. So it's pretty crazy stuff. The Razor Cores being kind of wasted chasing after my Night Runners, when really they need to be elsewhere dealing with my infantry pocket here. You can see Kazrak here actually getting dragged into the muck by Skrulk and the Plague Monk mob. And with that, my opponent's army is essentially in tatters. You can see all these guys routing. And of course, once they've routed, Skaven can either pursue them, and we're pretty quick on our feet ourselves. We should be able to sort of bunch up and prevent them from getting too much value and from really being able to recover. And you can see there, Kazrak is going to go down. Some of these Minotaurs still fighting for the cause, but really 4 Minotaurs are not going to carry the day here. They're surrounded by these filthy rats and really getting chopped up. You can see running away for dear life with the Rat Ogres in hot pursuit. They're not in for a good time. Certainly my opponent still has a handful of units here. He does have some of the Razor Gores. The Helpful Abomination, of course, still susceptible to just dying, too horrible to die if it procs, but able to get in here, start punching this Razor Gore, and this ugly Baconator just getting destroyed by the Abomination there. Seconds before the game finally does end. So that is going to be GG for the forces of the Rats. Now, this isn't necessarily a competition I'd recommend if you're playing against Beastmen, but it was something I wanted to try for fun, just try to rush them and rush the rushers. If I was trying to make this a little more competitive, I'd probably not Vanguard the Rats, and probably not necessarily Vanguard as far, definitely. Perhaps dump one of the units of Plague Monks, bring an extra unit of Rat Ogres to have a little extra stopping power, a little extra mass, but otherwise, you know, it's a fun little comp. It's not really meant to be overly serious. For my opponent's build, not necessarily terrible, to be honest, if you're just going, but the hybrid of Vanguard and then heavy monster presence is really odd. Usually if people go for a Beastman Vanguard build, it's going to be a horde of Gores backed by a bunch of cavalry. If you're going to be playing it safer and you're waiting for monsters to get up, there's not really that much point to Vanguard your infantry. You're not going to gain much from it. So, essentially not if they're supposed to be the main offensive. Like, sure, if you've got Ungors on the flanks that try to be a nuisance, that's one thing. But when they're like this, it's just not worth it, guys. Honestly, if you're going to be doing a build like this, just put your guys together, keep them together, and then advance as a whole. Because here my opponent lost basically like 3 or 4 of his frontline units before lines ever met, before the Minotaurs ever got there. That was a huge disaster. The Minotaurs did a lot of work, so did the Razor Gore trades, but with no anchor, no supporting unit there, it was just a total disaster for them. They got surrounded, they got beaten down, and that was that. So that's something to keep in mind, I think, if you're doing this matchup, or if you're doing any matchup like this with Beastmen, you need to be a little more coordinated. But regardless, good game to my opponent Jazz here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found it entertaining and fun. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. Keep up with additional content. If you have any comments, any criticism, any questions, as usual, do not hesitate to ask. I will do my best to respond as soon as I can. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.